Today, we're going to make a summertime version of Coq Au Vin, which means chicken and wine, with white wine and light-colored summery vegetables. This is the summertime version. It's less dark brown and more bright and light. So summertime chicken stew. Chicken. French people all over the world are screaming in agony that I'm doing this. It's supposed to have the skin on. However, I've made a lot of Coq Au Vin. It's a little better without the skin, I think. But anyway, I'm trimming off huge pieces of fat because that will save me time in the end, because I won't have to skim fat. These are chicken thighs. I'm using more chicken thighs than breast because it has more flavor. So there's a kind of chicken which you can't get in the US called poulet de Bresse, or breast chicken, B-R-E-S-S-E. We have a close relative of the poulet de Bresse, but like Jersey Royal potatoes that fans of MasterChef The Professionals UK will know about, you can't get them in the United States. There's still some things that aren't globalized, which is so fabulous. But I would love someday to cook a poulet de Bresse, which reminds me of the first time I made summertime Coq Au Vin. Regina, Lynn, and I took a trip to the south of France in 2013, SOF 2013, and we went to Châteauneuf-du-Pape, and it was, it was an amazing trip. But one day, we had a cook there, and we asked if we could make dinner, Reggie and I could make dinner. And he goes, sure, we'll take you to the market. And they took us to this insane farmer's market in the south of France. They had little tiny boxes like this filled with strawberries, but each strawberry was like positioned in the box perfectly. They had a mushroom stall that was like tiers of mushrooms, wild mushrooms, each in these perfect little boxes. It was an amazing experience. So I've trimmed up the chicken. This is not from Hudson & Charles, but if it was from Hudson & Charles, I might remind you to I guess I didn't realize those were boneless when I bought them. You don't really want boneless. The bones make a nice flavor. Liberally S&P. Liberally S&P. So Coq Au Vin, people go berserkowitz for Coq Au Vin, and it's really easy, okay? The only thing is that it has multiple steps, which we showed you in beef bourguignon, I believe. It's exactly the same as beef bourguignon. Okay, salt and peppered. I am now going to take this out and grill it on the grill because it's a summertime dish. So, unlike sort of wintertime Coq Au Vin, you don't want to color this as much as you would sear it in the winter. That's why I'm using the barbecue, because I'm going to use some barbecue marks on it, which make it slightly more summery. So you're going to start presentation side down. Of course, that's irrelevant because it's stew, so there's no presentation side. Okay? Throw this away because you want the juice that's going to come off of these, and the J-cloth will absorb it. Don't move it until it moves. So I'm just shifting it so it gets a crosshatch. So don't worry if your pieces are small and you feel like they're possibly cooking through. It's okay. Cute, right? Just gonna close this to let the heat build up a little bit. Hi, Pops. So you see how summery it looks? Like that's what you want. Summer look. Beautiful. I always think when people if my neighbors watch me coloring meat, if they think, that's not cooked. She's taking it inside, but it's not cooked. But I love my neighbors, they don't sound like that. So we're gonna take this in, and then we're ready to proceed. So you see, it's multiple steps, but the steps are facile. Anybody can do them. You just have to have the time in the day to do the steps. So I'm going to show you an interesting thickener thing because we're not using tomato paste because it's white coq au vin, so let's go in and do it. This is probably the 4,698th Coq Au Vin that I've made, but every time it's fun and interesting and every one is different. So you're going to take a nice big pot, like my beautiful Raffoni pot with the fennel on top. You're going to light your stove because, as I've always told you, the clicker doesn't work. Okay, so you want a sort of a medium heat there. And the first thing you're going to do is a teeny bit of olive oil, just a little bit. And I'm going to throw in this Chiterio. Makes this incredibly convenient pre-cut pancetta. Basically a brunoise, which is little tiny squares. This will change your life because it's a base for a lot of stuff. And cutting it can be a real pain in the butt. So that's about half a package. Saute this until it gives off a little bit of its juice. This is cut up leeks and shallot. So I'm just gonna put that in now. Saute it until it's sweaty, a little bit translucent. What you're using is something called a mirepoix, okay? In the South, it's called the Trinity, and the orange part is peppers, not carrots. So I do it like this because this cooks the quickest, so I put the carrots on top. Basically, this is gonna sort of disintegrate into your coq au vin. You can season a little bit now if you'd like. This is probably the last time I'll have to use herbs from a store because my garden is coming in. This is parsley and chives. I took the mint out. It came with mint. And I'm just going to go like this. I'm going to fold this like this. And I'm going to take a little bit of twine. And I'm just going to tie this into a bundle. This is the fancy name for this is bouquet garni. But I'm using specifically not thyme and rosemary because I want it to have a brighter flavor. Okay, sweating these off, sweating them off. Now in regular coq au vin, you put tomato paste, but we're not using tomato paste. What will we do, you ask? Here's a trick. You're gonna peel a Yukon Gold, a soft potato, and you're gonna cut super thin slices of sed. Yesterday, when I made the Magic of Television one, I cut these a little bit thick. They still liquefied. So you don't have to go bananas with this, you know? This is what you're using instead of tomato paste. Big coq au vin tip. Dump in the rest of the celery. I'm going to put a little bit of wine in just to sort of deglaze the bottom when it gets, see that brown? You want that, but you also want to get it in the mix, not just stuck on the bottom. Never cook with wine you wouldn't drink. I drink that. Little deglaze. I've never had La Crema White. And it's a Chardonnay, but it's very high and tight. It's a good wine. Okay, now it's getting nasty. So now you want to burn off that liquid a little bit. Okay, I'm going to put the chicken in. I'm going to sort of nestle the chicken in. Like this. From now on, you can't taste it because it's got raw chicken in it. Chances of a humanely raised chicken having salmonella are lower, but it's still there. So be careful. I'm going to pour in the juice. Now I'm going to do a strange thing, you might think. Coat it in flour. Kind of weird. This is also a thickening agent. And if we were doing it the traditional way, this would create a crust inside the oven. But I've been making this a long time and it works just as well like this. Kind of move it around so they all look the same. I'm now going to flambe, which we don't have a lighter for, which is interesting. Let's see how this works. I'm going to use brandy and hope it doesn't burn off before I can ignite it, which it might. There we go. Yeah. I don't know if you guys can see the flame. So it's really sticking to the bottom now. That's okay. I flambe twice or 3 times. Not everybody does that. I think it gives it a deeper flavor. So you want to move it around the flames And now you're ready to put the liquid in. Your liquid is white wine, not red wine. 1 bottle of white wine. And you want it to be almost covered, but not completely covered. So I'm topping up with a little bit of stock. This is organic chicken stock. Okay, I'm gonna put in our little slices, and I'm gonna stir them around in a second. These will disintegrate. All right, you want this to vigorously boil. There's your bouquet, submerge it. And then you're gonna turn it down to a simmer. A braise is what we're doing. It's not really a simmer. It's like, it's not, and it's not. Okay, that's a braise. Just make sure you don't let it boil. You're not boiling it, okay? You're braising it. I'm also sort of scraping the bottom to get the little bits that got stuck there during the flour section. I can feel them with the spoon. Don't plan on eating this in 1 hour. Nothing under 3 hours. What I usually do is make it the day before. Come back from the theater, make this at night, put it in the fridge, take it out in the morning, skim the fat if there is any, and then reheat it for dinner. It's better if you leave it overnight. Low, super low, and I'm gonna let some of the heat escape by doing this. So I can get it to the desired bubbling that I want. Summertime, Coq Au Vin. C'est fin. Coq Au Vin, always a crowd pleaser. You can make it 3 days in advance. You can make it the night before. I would suggest making it the night before, if you can. You can also make it in the morning, okay? Coq Au Vin, if it gets too thick, you thin it with a little bit of stock or even hot water. Serve it with egg noodles or rice and a crispy arugula spicy salad with a really light, beautiful citrusy dressing. And you have the perfect summer meal. Chop a little parsley over it. Come on, Coq Au Vin, man. I am now going to take this out and grill it on the grill because it's a summertime dish.